while we were on break over the weekend, and even before we went on break, was the big back and forth between the White House and the Catholic Church, the Catholic bishops, about contraceptive access for women. And so they were back and forth because the administration had put out this ruling that, by the way, was already existed in 10 other states, but that if you were a Catholic-based company or a religious-based organization, your health plan had to include providing contraceptive to women free of charge.
Right.
The Catholic Church, went on, Catholic men went on a rampage on, they sent out letters, they were on the news and sort of all those things like that. And if somebody can point me to a video of one Catholic woman that was on the news defending this, please
there
send
are
it to
some.
me.
There are
Because
some.
I did not see them at all. But majority of it was men.
It was mostly men, but
Yes.
there were some women
Okay.
out there defending this.
So there was on Friday, I think they put out that the president came out and he was going to announce a compromise. So at first I was upset because I was like, if the president comes out and backpedals and says he's now not going to do this, and women,
Everybody was freaking out. Did you see Twitter? Twitter was losing their stuff.
I tweeted, I was like, there is no compromise for contraceptive. If you provide resources for the women or you don't, there is no So I was like about to rent clothes and be in sackcloth and ashes because I was about to be mad. Mm-hmm. However, the president, being the president, came out, and the deal they said is that women will still be able to have access to it, still free of charge,
right,
but that the burden would be on the insurers. So the insurers can reach out directly to women to provide this access. Right. The insurers are fine with it because they actually said, it's cost effective for them to provide contraceptive versus paying for pregnancy or paying for abortion and stuff like that. So they're fine. Everybody's fine. The people that were speaking out against it, not so much.
Here's the magical part about this. Okay, so cool. So the argument becomes, hey, all right, you are forcing people to do something. You are completely just throwing out freedom of religion. You're just throwing it out. Which, by the way, I feel like this is a skewed version of freedom of religion, because the idea of freedom of religion was specifically that you were allowed to practice whatever religion you want.
Exactly.
You should not be forced to practice someone else's religion.
And that there would not be a state-sponsored religion.
Right. Whereas this, I feel as if this is not quite as clear. This is not how this is being laid out. Because at best, what they were asking was that you have to supply a basic need to your employees. That was that. And this is a basic need for women. This is not something special. This is not anything. It was a really, really bad argument, I would say, that this is somehow destroying religious freedom. But fine. They wanted to go for that. That's what the argument they wanted to make. The White House was like, cool. All right. Bet. You don't have to pay for it. Now what? I felt like Obama literally could have said, you don't have to pay for it. Now what? And dropped the mic and then moonwalked away from the podium.
Yep.
And that would have been fine. I wanted to say your move. Because that's basically what he was saying. Like the short of Obama, you don't have to pay for it. They still get it. Now what?
You think he was just letting them freak out so they could tell everyone? Did you
Well,
think he was
that's
sitting
the
on that
argument.
statement?
The argument has become that he did this, but the reason why they're making that argument is because it was so badly so badly played. It was like, this is so badly done that it had to be a plan, which is a bad argument. Sometimes I feel like you could just make a mistake. I feel like they had the White House does this weird thing sometimes where they think, hey, if we're really, really logical and for the people will be behind us. And that never works for them. I don't understand why they haven't figured that out yet. They have not figured that out, that you cannot be really like, hey, all women should have the right to these things. That's all. Because on paper, in a room, you can go, hey, that sounds really reasonable. And the people who are against it, you go, come on, you're crazy. Especially if you're in a room full of people that are supposedly Democrats. You can go, come on, really? You're blocking a basic needs of a woman? Really? And so you can have that argument, and it seems clear, you move forward. You go out into the real world, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and even now that he's made it that the Catholic Church, you don't have to pay for anything. No religious institution has to pay for anything. But insurances still have to cover it no matter what. And the bishops are still going, this is unfair. This is an attack against religious freedoms. And Republicans is flat out saying...
Yeah, they're still saying it.
Republicans are saying, you know what? Forget religious institutions. Any institution shouldn't have to cover this.
Right. So what happens is that there's a new Marco Rubio is introduced legislation that would let any employer deny birth control coverage based upon a religious thing.
Right.
So if you happen to work for what's the place that we boycott? Not fried chicken. What's the chicken?
The
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, which is they're closed on Sundays. They're very religious. If they decide, not to provide contraceptive, if they provide health insurance, they can do so based on a religious provision. And so there's a new bill for that. And so it's like it has nothing to do with religious freedom and preventing religious organizations from providing this. They just don't want to provide this basic health right for women, period.
Right. And it's problematic. But the thing is that I'm not sure how this is going to play out yet. Because if you listen to either side, this is either a huge mistake or a huge win. Because liberals are like, oh, well, obviously this is going to shore up the independent women vote because they are the ones that will be affected by this. They'll see the argument here. Republicans are like, this is going to shoot Obama in the foot because people you underestimating religious institutions and the Catholic vote. Literally, there was a Twitter account that was created that did nothing but retweet people that were for the contraception being given. Just would retweet them. How many presidents have ever won without the Catholic vote? Literally, I would get one every 3 hours. Just like a tweet. How many presidents have ever won without the Catholic vote? How many? To the point where it's like, all right, I'm blocking you. Not because I'm upset by what you're saying, just because you're spamming me. You're not even coming up with good arguments. You're just spamming. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. Because I feel as if the only way you could say this is a win for Obama is if you're using logic, and obviously we are living in a world where logic does not matter, and for you to believe that logic somehow wins things, you are a fool.
Yeah, it just seems like this is a consistent, they like to talk about, the war on religion and things like that. Republicans have an all-out war against women.
Yeah.
An all-out war against women. They are not fond of women. They're not fond of women's health. They're not fond of protecting women physically.
The argument isn't that they're against women. It's just that they're for life, and they're for.
How can you be for life and be against life for women?
Well, okay, but you make life. That we're for the life that you make. You're already here.
Not your life.
We got you here. Make the babies and shut up.
We need you to make the babies, but when they come out,
so
get them out there.
Because there's more stories in the war on women. That's on the docket really quickly. There's another story that was on our docket. There's a court case that says the judge says women being fired for lactation, so needing to breastfeed or needing to pump, is not sex discrimination.
How is that not sex discrimination when only women can be fired for that?
So they said the intent is that the intent of the breastfeeding law, which is like you have to provide time for women to breastfeed or something, was to get nursing mothers back to work early, but allow them to continue to nurse because of the health benefits of nursing. Right. He says, but even so, the law doesn't have anything to do with terminating an employee. It just requires break time. So that there's a hole in the law that it requires time. It requires that women have the break time needed to do that, but it doesn't prevent them from being fired if they need the break time to do that.
That is one of the stupidest things I have ever heard in my entire life. That's literally idiotic. It's like, so you say they have to give it to me, but if they just decide to fire me, they're off the hook? That doesn't even make sense. Who said that?
The judge said this judge said lactation is not pregnancy related, and therefore
you can only lactate if you get pregnant. What the hell is that? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Do women just randomly lactate?
But you can lactate. You can lactate because, like how people used to nurse and sort of not be currently pregnant.
But then they have to have some point.
There's something. Yeah. There's pills but besides all of that, there's no random woman with no kids going around lactating.
Yeah,
right. Right, yes, you can make sure that you are continually making milk,
Yes.
forever, or whatever amount of time. But for you to literally, it's a direct like for people who are so about the women and life and and the reason why you have to have gay stuff is wrong is because you have to make life and stuff like that. They really want to make it hard for women to even do the part of the thing that the Republicans like that they do.
Because sex is only to procreate. It is not for fun. So you don't need anything else. It's just all sex is for producing children, and that's it. And then once you produce the children, you have to use whatever resources and whatever time necessary to take care for the child.
That is the dumbest. That's not a protection of law. I feel like that judge should literally be like someone should. So action should go against him because I don't understand how the law can be misread. It's like, oh well, you have to have breaks, but you can be fired.
Him. There are other courts that have issued similar statements.
Women,
apparently.
By the way, women judges. I want to see women judges going, yeah, lactation has nothing to do with pregnancy. Yes. There's a law saying that you have to be able to lactate, but if we want to fire you for lactating, then that's okay. That's literally the most ass-backwards response to something I've ever heard.
And I repeat, the judge reasoned that lactation was not pregnancy related, and as a result, firing someone because of lactation or breast pumping is not sex discrimination.
That is insane. That judge is... What's the judge's name?
Hold on.
I want to clearly know who I'm calling an idiot.
Oh.
What?
U.S. District Judge Lynn Hughes.
A woman! Ladies!
It may not be. No, it may not be.
Continue. I'm going to look this up. It's ridiculous.
Let's look. I don't know. See if we can
no,
find
this is unacceptable.
He's a man.
Oh,
yeah.
Because really, my brain. Listen, women say you do some crazy things sometimes.
I'm sorry, vulgar girl, but Texas.
Damn Texas! Really? Seriously? I don't even. This is ass backwards.
I feel like a vulgar woman was just sitting there shrugging at her computer. She's like, I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow. This is nothing. It's not sexually based. It has nothing to do with pregnancy. It's just lactating. Because you know what? What's hot in the street? Lactating. Sometimes you just do it just like for fun one day.
You know what's hotter in the streets? Lactating men. Because,
So, I put the link in the chat room.
This is
for this,
horrendous. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Well, I have more dumb for you for the continued war against women. There was a vote to extend. To reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act, which is a 1994 law, to combat domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. No Republicans voted for the reauthorization.
What?
Not a single Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee voted in favor of the reauthorization.
What was their rationale for that?
They offered a substitute bill, but to eliminate the Justice Department oversight on some of the things for domestic violence and sexual assault.
Wait! You're telling me they're playing politics on this? They don't like how the thing is built, so then they literally cancel something that's been in action for what 15, 16? I'm sorry, 18 years now. They canceled that because they were playing politics.
And he wanted to cut the money.
Wow.
And there were some improvements on the bill to protect, to protest some of the things like rape. There's back and forth issues in some states on rape kits in terms of who's responsible for the payment of things, for the payment of that. In some states, women themselves had to pay for the rape kit. So there was, that. There's the enforcement of protection orders for people being stalked.
I can't. By the way, you telling me all these things are making me genuinely rethink the whole concept of possibly bringing a life into this world. Only because there's a 50% chance it'll be a girl, and then I have a 50% chance of a daughter who is going to be attacked her entire life in this country, apparently.
Well, and to be fair, from their perspective, the thing that was the most controversial is that it expanded a little bit. You wouldn't be able to deny anyone services because they were gay or transgender. And it
Politics.
right, and also to protect victims who may have a disputed immigration status. So there's an actual.
So they want to be able to have immigrants raped. They're like, listen. If you're like some random immigrant, you should be able to be raped. I don't want to protect like raped immigrants. Really, Eljoy, weird.
I think Eldred detonated the show.
This is the war on women.
None of this makes sense. It literally is just like, why would you do that? It's forget politics. Just why would you do that as a reasonable human being? As a reasonable human being. Let's say, yes, you are very much against the idea that people are taking American jobs. Let's say you want to go along with that particular narrative. Let's say you want to go there. You're okay. You're taking, so there has to be a chokehold. So the chokehold is going to be at rape. That's where you want to hold this out. That's where you want to stop them and make them have to respond to something. It's rape. That's where you want the chokehold for immigration to be. Seriously? Wow. I can't with any of this, Eljoy.
Great time to be a woman in America.
It is terrible. This is terrible.